Okay, welcome to week 17 live session. And today we're going to look at the topics we've covered in the class lesson. And just like we usually do for the previous live lessons, we still have our templates that we're going to use to illustrate all the topics that we've covered. Now we're going to look at JavaScript arrays, loops, dates, and we're going to look at methods for the dates and the arrays as well. So I have here, like we always do, I have here the templates that we're going to use to illustrate these topics. So like you see here on the page, we have the first section, which is for array and array methods. And we have created a paragraph that says, click the button to see array manipulation. And the button holds a function that we're going to use to, by events, when clicked, that is going to display the scripts we'll be writing for this function, which will hold all the array manipulations, the methods, array and the methods. Then the div, the last div here for output, where the manipulations will be displayed below once we click this button. So now when we click, we have nothing. And then also the second section for sorting arrays and loops, and then the paragraph for that says click the button to see sorted arrays and loops. And then as usual, we have the events function and the onClick attributes, the JavaScript onClick attributes, and that's where we're going to have the scripts to sort and loop our array. So let's just move on. So we have the same for others, and we expect that for each section we're going to display the different topics. All right, now we'll head over to the scripts area where we're going to start writing our scripts. Now we're looking at array and array methods. Basically, arrays are used to store multiple values in a single variable, and each value in an array is called an element, and each element has an index starting from 0. So we're going to see how this is done. Now, like we always do, we're going to create a function for this illustration, and the name of the function, as we have here, we have the function for onClick array methods. So I'm going to start with the function, and to create functions in JavaScript, we use the keyword function. And then the function that we have created for onClick, which is array method. And brackets. And curly brace for our scripts. So how do we create arrays? Now, like I said, arrays are used to store multiple values, and in a single variable, they are used to store multiple values in a single variable, and each value in an array is called an element, and each element has an index starting from 0. So let's create a variable. So we use the keyword let's, and this time we want to look at fruits. We're going to use a fruit variable where we're going to have several fruits as the elements. That's the key keywords. So that's the values, which is our element. So let's look at fruits, and I'm going to type the variable name fruits, and our assignment variable, the assignments operator, and To create an array, we use the square brackets to list our items. So in the pair of square brackets, we're going to give our elements. Now, the first element we're going to have here is apple. So apple is a fruit. We want to use this as one of our elements. And then we also have banana. So with a comma separated list, we can give as much elements we have or we tend to. So I'm just going to give this amount. We'll be adding extra using the array methods. All right, so this, we have successfully created an array. We have apple, banana, and orange as our elements or our values that is being stored inside the variable called fruits. Now, let's look at methods. So there are different methods or JavaScript provides various methods to manipulate arrays. Now we're going to look at the first method, and the first one is called push method. So like we have learned in the previous lesson, when we want to make use of methods, if we have assigned values or elements like we have here to a variable, we just call the variable and we add the methods and decide what we want to do in the method. So for this first method, we're going to look at the push method, and I'm going to just write it here, which is so I'm going to assign it to a variable. I will say let's fruits sorry. Okay. All right. So we're going to look at methods. And then the first method we want to look at here is the push method. So I'm going to call the variable, say fruits dot push. And this is the syntax for the push method. And inside the pair parentheses, we're going to decide which of the elements that we want to push. So the push method adds an element to the list of elements that we already have inside the array, which is this fruits array we have here. So let's say we want to add an element to this list of elements. So all we have to do is specify the name here, this of the string. So I want to add grape. So grape is the new fruit we want to add to this list of fruits. And this just makes sure that we add an element. Now, we can also have, there's a method we use to remove elements. So when we add this using the fruits.push, this basically just adds the grape to the last list. So remember I said arrays are indexed. So by index we mean this first element here, or this first value, is indexed as 0. The index always starts at 0, and this is 0, 1, 2. So when we use fruit.push, it just adds it at the end, adds another element at the end or another value to the list, and it adds it at the end of the list. So by doing this, it's going to give us apple, banana, orange, and grape. So I'm going to make this simple by creating the output before looking at all the lists. So for looking at all the methods, so for each method we create, we're going to add it to the output so we see how it affects the array on the page. So I'm going to write the output script first. So let's output equal to. So I want the first display to be our original array. So I'm going to name this original. So as we add the different methods, the original array is going to be affected. So I want to see from every step, from every method we add, how the original array is being affected. So what we want to look at here is first we have a variable that we have created for the original array, which is called fruit. So we're going to add it in this formatted string. So before we add anything, we're just going to see what happens to this list first. And we're going to output this to the screen using documents get elements by ID, and the ID we have here is the array output. So this is what we're going to use to print out the output for this array, and this is coming out to the inner HTML. So we use that inner HTML. We want to print out the output, which is a variable we have here. All right, hopefully if this works, we're going to see the original array first. So I'm going to refresh the page, and all right, so now what we have here is the original array plus the extra value we've added. So using the method fruit.push, the push method, the array method push, we have successfully added grape to the list of array, values we have in this array. Previously we had apple, banana, and orange. That's why we have apple, banana, orange, and then we used the method fruit.push. We added grape, and now we have grape added to the list. So this is how we're going to look at the different methods. Now the next method we want to look at here is the pop method. And what the pop method does is it removes the last element. It doesn't need to know the name of the element. By just specifying fruit.pop and pair of bracket, this just takes out the last element on the array. So I'm going to save this, And if I refresh the page, we're going to see when we click that we no longer have the grape element or the grape value that we added. So we have returned back to the original array, which is apple, banana, and orange. So that's one of the methods. Now we also have the onShift and shift methods. They add and remove elements from the beginning of the array, unlike what we have here for push and pop, which adds and removes elements from the end of the array. So let's look at the onShift. So use the same method. We write fruits dot onShift. So onShift is the method, remember? And now here we want to specify, since we want to add something to the beginning, we are going to specify the elements that we are adding. So we're going to add the fruits. Let's add kiwi. So kiwi is the fruits that we will be adding to this array. So let's look at how this adds to the beginning of the array. So if I click now, we have kiwi at the beginning and no longer apple because we've used the method onShift. So let's use the shift method to remove this. So this is just for how we add and remove elements at the beginning of the array, not at the end. So this method will be shift, and we don't need to specify the name of the element. All it does is that it's going to remove whatever element that is there at the beginning of the array. So if I refresh now and I click, we would no longer have the kiwi elements that we added. So we've returned back to the original array, which is apple, banana, orange, as we have on the initial array. All right, so let's look at another method. We have the concat method, and the concat merges two or more arrays. So let's create another array where we're going to concat the arrays. So here I'm going to say let's more fruits. Let's have more fruits. Equal to, let's create our array. So we can have mango. And we can have pineapple. So I'm going to close this line here. Now we need to create a variable that we can use to add these two arrays together. So we're going to say let's fruits, which we had earlier. Okay, sorry. The name of the variable that we want to create now is called all fruits. So we say let's all fruits equal to, so let's use the concat method now, equal to fruits, which is the initial array we had created, dot concat is the name of the method, and then in a pair of bracket we specify the other array that we want to merge it with. So the name of the other array is more fruits. So this is going to merge both arrays together. And all we have to do is call the variables here in our formatted string. So we want to add more to this formatted string. So we say plus, but this is going to begin with a break tag. We want it to display below. And what this line is going to display now would be all fruits. And the all fruits variable we created for the method is called all fruits. So take note of the convention I've been using. You see, I always follow the same convention. So here, all fruits has the capital F after the all word, and so it's written the same way here as well. So I'm going to save this. And I'll refresh the page and we're going to get, oh, okay, so there could be something wrong here. So let's look at what's wrong. I'm going to check my console. Okay. Line 64, syntax error, unexpected string. Line 64. Syntax error. Okay, so it's meant to have a comma separated. So this is what makes it an array. Like I said, the elements are separated with comma. So I have to specify that there must be a comma separating the values. So I'm going to save this now and refresh the page. So hopefully we don't have that error. All right, now error is fixed. So we have all fruits now displaying the merged array that we created. We created mango and pineapple. So now when we print all fruits where we have merged the initial variable. All right, Mr. Emmanuel.
Yeah, I would like to seek for permission. I want to, I've been sent to go and do something. So I think I'll watch the recorded listing later.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So, okay, thanks.
All right, now we have successfully merged the both arrays in the all fruits variable using the concat method. That's why we have the mango and pineapple added to the initial array, which was apple, banana, and orange. So now we have apple, banana, orange, and the new array, which is mango and pineapple. All right, so we can include more methods to this list, and next let's look at how to slice. And for slicing, it's just a way to extract a section of an array. So let's say we want to extract elements from a particular area, or an index. Since the elements are indexed, so we can extract an element using the index from it. So let's look at how to do that. We're going to create a variable for this. So we can say let's, and this time we want to, let's use a fruit name. So let's citrus. Equal to the original array that we created. So let's equal to fruits dot splice. And in the pair of parentheses, we're going to specify the index that we want to extract. And here we want to extract from index 1 to 2. And in order for us to extract from index 1 to 2, because the index starts from 0, and when we want to specify indexes, the last index is usually not included, but we specify it. So let's say, for example, we want to extract from index 1, separated with a comma. So here I'm going to write 3. So this basically is 0, 1, 2, but there isn't any 3, but this is just going to extract the index that are present there. So I'm going to save this first and let's see. Oh, let's add it to our formatted string. So see how it displays. And this will be for citrus. And the name is citrus. So I'll save this. I'll refresh the page. Oh, and I have to use a break tag. So this displays below. BR, save, refresh, show. So now we have removed from the original array. We have extracted the index from the 1 to 2. So now initially we had apple, banana, orange. But now we have just apple because we specified here that the index 1, which is banana, and then because it doesn't have it doesn't include the last index, so we have 1 extracted and 2 extracted. So there is no need for the third one because it just reads from the last index before the specified. It stops at the last index before the last specified index. So what we have here is now the banana and orange extracted as citrus fruits. So this makes up citrus fruits. So it makes a lot of sense when we do things like this to see how to extract elements. So I'm going to save this. Now, next, let's look at splice. Sorry, what we just do now is splice. So sorry, this should have, let's use this to do slice. So the slice is what we use to extract elements. So I'm going to reload this and make sure. Yeah, so this is exactly what we expected. But so we're going to see the difference why the other elements were taken out from the original array. So what we have here is the slice. This is what was expected, that we wanted to extract from index 1 to 2. So 0, 1 the index starts from here, 1 starts from here, which is banana, and then 2, which is orange. So let's look at the splice over again and understand why the splice is outputted that way. So say now this time we're going to create a variable. Let's use or we don't need a variable for this. So let's just go ahead and say fruit dot splice. And we're going to specify the elements that we want to add. So the splice adds elements with a specific index. So this is how we're going to add the elements. So we say 2, index 2, and 2 index from 0. With commas separated. We want to specify the element we want to add. So let's say we want to add lemon, and we want to add lime. So I'm going to close this line here. Now, what the splice is going to do, that it's going to add lemon and lime at index 2, as we've specified here. I'm going to save this. And we're going to see how this is going to output on the page. So if I refresh this, now we have lemon and lime added to the list, because we have specified that fruit.splice, which is the array, we want to add 2 more elements from index 2. So now initially we had apple, banana, orange, and this is index 0, this is index 1, and from index 2, which is orange, is where we have specified that we want to add these 2 new elements. So we now have from index 2 lemon and lime, just as we have included here. So this is the syntax. This is how we can add elements to the array. There are also other ways we can remove using the splice. We can remove with indexes using the splice. So let's look at that. So let's remove one element, and then now we can say fruits dot splice, and here we're going to specify the elements that we want to remove. So from index 1, we want to remove an element. So I'm going to save this and refresh the page for us to see. So from index 1, we have successfully removed an element. So previously, let's let's take out this first. Let's comment. I'll save this. So see what we had before for the original array. We had apple, banana, lemon, lime, orange. Apple, banana, lemon, lime, orange. Now we no longer have banana, we have apple, lemon, lime, orange, because we have used the splice to remove an element from index 1. So when we add the elements, we include the element's name, and it tells us where we are adding we use the index to tell where we're adding the elements. But when we do not include the element's name, we just use the index. The script just says that we're removing an element from index 1 or at index 1. So that's why we no longer have the banana fruit that was here. All right, so let's look at another method, and this will be index of and last index of. So this method just basically finds the first occurrence of a particular element or finds the last occurrence. So let's use the variable for this. So we say let's index equal to fruits dot now the method name is index of, and in bracket we're going to specify the element. So the element here is banana. So we want to check if banana is in the array. So that's what this method is going to do. It's going to check if there's banana, the element banana in the array. And then let's check for the last index of. So for this, we're going to create another variable. I'll say let this variable be last index of. Please give me a minute. All right, just had to plug my system. All right, so now we're looking for the last index of, and we're going to create a variable to stop this method, and we're going to call this last index. And the method to find the last index, we can say fruits. That's the name of the method, which is last index of. And in the bracket, we want to check if there's an occurrence of, let's say, orange as the last index. Now, we have orange as the last index here. We can see that already, but assuming we don't know, this is one method we can use to check to confirm, and we're going to get a true or false. So let's add this to our formatted string. So we're going to include last index of orange. The method variable we got that for last index. Okay, before I add the last index, let's add index of first. So this will be index of. Plus. Now we can add the last index of. Going to close this string. Oh, I have two strings. Two closing strings. So all right, now we've added this to the formatted string. Hopefully this gives us what we need. All right, so there must be something wrong. I'm going to check this in my console. So we have a type error. Root.index of is not a function at line 69. Okay, line 69. Root.index of. So what did I do wrong? Okay, so the method name is supposed to be capped. So it's index of, and this as well will be capped. I'm going to save this, refresh, and hopefully all is well. And then yes, all is well. So now we can now see the index. So we want to check the index of the occurrence of where banana is on the array, and where we have it as for index, it's -1. Because we are looking at what we've done so far from the methods we've applied. So we have the index displayed as -1, and then last index of, which is orange, has the index of 3. So because we've added more to the array, now we have 0, 1, 2, 3. So that's why we have the last index, but we had sliced out the banana. So now we have, unless we check for a different, let's use something else here. Let's check for apple. I'm going to save this and refresh. So the apple has the index of 0. So this is how you could check for the index of elements in a particular array. So here we have 0, 1, 2, 3. and it gives us the exact index where these elements are located, which is index 0 for apple and index 3 for orange. All right, maybe we could just look at one last method, and this will be the join method. So what the join method does is that it combines all elements into a string. So let's try that. So we'll say let's fruits string equal to fruits dot join. So with this syntax, what we have here is that apple, we're going to join the apple, lemon, lime, and orange. So that's what we have there. So let's add it to the formatted string so we'll see how this displays. So we're going to say plus, and we're going to print this. Name of this string, we're going to say join string, and variable we have for the join string. I'm going to end this here. All right, so I'll refresh. All right, my join isn't complete. I'm going to complete that. And that's not the only problem. I have a comma here. Okay, so join string. I think there's a problem somewhere. Just want to quickly check something. Okay. So before this would take too much time, I think we've spent a lot of time on this first topic, and since this the time it has already gotten to where we're meant to end the class, I would probably just allow us to have a one-on-one to complete this lesson. So I'm just going to stop here, where we have looked at the different methods for the array and array methods. So in order for us to have more of these illustrations for this topic, you can book a one-on-one. Though we have treated most of these topics in the class lesson, we are just trying to make use of this on the web page differently. But you can always book a one-on-one for us to look more on these topics and see how we can complete this exercise as well. All right, so I'm going to end the class here. And so far, we have looked at all the methods for arrays. So if you have any questions or any challenges looking at sorting arrays and loops, iterating arrays, or dates and date methods, you can feel free to reach out to me on the class WhatsApp group. All right, so I wish everyone success in their assignments. All right, bye, everyone.